Destiny's new loadout system is incredibly simplistic, but at the same time, super powerful. I've spent a ton of time messing around with it, figuring out some cool ways that you can set these up. So I figured I'd put together this video to give you a couple examples of how you can get the most out of it. First off, just to show you real quick why I love these things, they are insanely fast. Look at how quick it swaps. It's actually kind of insane when you think about it. If you're used to dim loadouts, those take a super long time to set up. I decided to split up the sections between top and bottom as PvE and PvP. It just makes it a little bit easier for my brain to quickly acknowledge which one is which. I am 100% a Stompy's crutch, so I probably won't put anything else on the bottom here. To be 100% honest, Bungie can pry my Stompies off of my cold dead legs. I went with different icons to indicate what they are for myself. My second, third, and fourth loadout are all setups for DPS builds. So I decided to go with the same icon, but different colors to indicate what subclass they're set up for. So you can see I've got Strand, Star Eater, Arc, Star Eater, and Solar Star Eater. I've also got a quick swap set up for Aeons. This is super useful for day one raids, GMs, things where we basically just need unlimited amounts of heavy. Now, I don't know about you, but I really hated when dim loadouts would automatically equip whatever weapons were in there. So I usually made those loadouts with blank weapon slots, and I would essentially just pick the armor build and go ahead and pick and choose my weapons afterwards, or I would carry over the weapons that I was using. But more often than not, the builds that I'm using are heavily flexible depending on what weapons I want to bring. And so I just really did not like that. Now, a friend of mine showed me a way that you can set these up with blank weapons, and it prevents anything from changing when you swap. Just as a quick example, I'll select 3 random weapons, click a new loadout, and you can see those weapons stayed. Now, you can also leave blank fragment slots, which is super nice if you have builds that are set up around specific types of weapons you're running. For example, I use Threat of Propagation when I have a Strand Kinetic equipped, but I typically run Threat of Transmutation when I'm not using a Strand weapon. Now, there's a sort of roundabout way to get these empty weapon slots. I figured the easiest way for me to show you how to do it is if I just give an example build and we put together something kind of random. I'm not going to pick random armor because I don't really want to mess up the slots that I have here, but I will mess around with some of the subclass things and the armor mods to give you an example. The first thing you're going to want to do is go into your collections and pull a random kinetic, energy, and heavy weapon. Now, it is very important to make sure that those are equipped. We'll leave 2 blank fragment slots just as an example. Now, I do a similar thing when it comes to armor mods. Depending on the scenario and what it is that I'm doing, a lot of times I don't really know what I would want equipped. But let's say you're really into throwing and you like running heavy ammo finders. We'll go ahead and throw one of those on. Maybe you're really enjoying the new firepower mod and you don't plan to take it off. You're also like me and you're incredibly sick of threshers killing you with one shot. And you've realized that recuperation is better than anything else in legs. Let's say you really love running surges for your weapons, but you really don't know what kind of weapons you're going to run. I would leave this slot blank, because then when you equip the loadout and you figure out what weapons you're going to be using, you could come into here and just throw that mod on real fast. And you recognize how OP Reaper is on Hunter. Just a quick overview, you can see that there are still a couple of blank spots. This will be really nice to pick and choose what you want after you equip the loadout. Now, the next step is to select what slot you want to put it in. I'm going to pick this randomly, but I'll show you how you can undo your decision later. Now, you'll notice at the top, those 3 weapons are still there. That's where you go ahead and put anything else back on and delete them. Now, you can see it states item cannot be found instead of a specific weapon. So you can go and put on anything that you want after. I'm going to swap to my other loadout and show you we have 3 fragments. And then we'll swap back to this new one and show you the 2 blank spots. Now, let's say you made a mistake and you accidentally put this here. If you look around a little bit, you can see that there is absolutely no way to remove this in the game itself. You can overwrite it. So eventually, if you create a new loadout and you decide you want it in this spot, you can go ahead and just hold F over it to change it up. I think that's a terrible design. Now, I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how to fix this because I accidentally clicked one of these loadout slots in a random spot, and it was really, really bothering me. Download the Destiny 2 companion app and tap on the Guardian tab at the bottom. Now we're working on my Hunter today, so we'll go ahead and tap on that. And if you see at the bottom right, it says Loadouts. Now this is a list of all of the loadouts that you have set up. If you tap on one of them, it gives you a couple of options. One that's really nice is update loadout identifiers. This is so much easier than just tabbing through everything. So you could just tap on whatever and change the name of it. But you may have noticed at the bottom it says clear loadout. And if you look here on screen while we tap clear loadout, it's instantly gone. This made a massive difference for me as I was no longer a little anxious about playing around with things. I knew that I had the option to delete stuff if I messed it up, and it's made experimenting with the loadout system feel much more fun. I honestly didn't think I was going to care much about the loadout system, but I've been using it every single time that I play, especially hopping between PvE and PvP. I stream every day but Tuesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/strasner. And if you have any questions about the loadout system, leave a comment down below.